Hey, what's up, guys? It's Steve at the Range Minded Podcast with another tactical tip. Today, we're going to talk about Coopers Coloe Codes of Awareness. Stay tuned. All right, like I said in the intro, we're going to talk about Colonel Jeff Cooper's Coloe Codes of Awareness. Now, these might seem like a really simple concept, and I'm sure you've heard about these before, but hopefully I can bring them and present them in a way to you that maybe you can incorporate these into your daily lives, whether it's in self-defense or self-awareness or whatever. Honestly, these codes are super handy, and Colonel Cooper made it a way for us to integrate these very simply into our lives. Let's jump in. Before we really jump into the colors, let's kind of look at Colonel Jeff Cooper as who he was as a man. Obviously, he was a colonel in the military, very highly decorated man, very intelligent man, especially when it came to handgun combative skills and getting that information to his soldiers. He was also a little bit of a thinker, a philosopher, and as he was coming up with these color codes, he realized that he could incorporate these ideals in a simple way using a color scheme to help his soldiers make good choices in the battlefield, and in turn, while teaching people to defend themselves, how they too can use these same situational awareness levels in their daily lives to keep themselves safe. All right, let's talk about condition white, which is unaware and unprepared. Now, it should be pretty obvious, right? If you think about just those two words in themselves, it means you're not paying attention to the world at all around you. Maybe an example is like maybe you're walking through a mall or a big box store, you're on your phone, you're completely absorbed with a task that is immediately in front of you. Maybe you've seen videos of people like walking into fountains in like mall videos or something, or bumping into shelves or whatever. Completely unaware and completely susceptible of being a victim. Bad guys love people in condition white because they can sneak up to you completely undetected. That is a good way to be a victim, and staying out of condition white is imperative to your self-defense. All right, the next condition is yellow, which is kind of a relaxed awareness. It means you're not really paying attention to what's in front of you. Maybe you're actually looking around a little bit. You're a little bit more observant to sounds or sights, maybe movements. Condition yellow is definitely better than condition white, obviously, because you're a little bit more aware. But does that mean that you're not a victim? It means that you're going to be a little less susceptible to becoming a victim. Condition yellow is still kind of dangerous, though, because we're not absorbing, we're not looking around us. Like maybe we've got a 3-foot circle instead of a 20-foot circle around us. Condition yellow is definitely better than condition white, but we still need to be a little bit better. The other thing about condition yellow is a lot of people live their lives normally in condition yellow. Like I said, startle sights, startle sounds, movements, that kind of thing. We're a little bit more observant. Most people live in the yellow. At the very minimum, even within our homes, we should probably be at least living in the yellow. And jumping back to white real quick, think about how you are in your home or in your car. A lot of us get really, really comfortable in these places and not paying attention. Again, white is a no-go. Stay out of the white. Yellow at the minimum. Next one is orange. That means there's something that's caught our attention. We're aware of something specific. Something has caught our attention. Maybe we see a movement coming toward us. Maybe somebody's acting really strange. Because we're not living in white and somewhat living in yellow, the level orange is a lot easier to attain. We're specifically aware of a specific situation that could end up being something much, much worse. Why is being orange, in condition orange, such an important thing? Because it helps us to develop a reactionary response in a much quicker way. Because we've already identified that there's a potential threat or something that isn't quite right, we can get our bodies ready to react in a way that will help us get to the next level, which is going to be condition red. Condition red, this is like all bets off. It is fight or flight time. It is time for us to react or to run. This is not the best place to be unless we've been living in orange or yellow, right? If we've at least in yellow, then we're kind of prepared for when it hits to the red. Red means we have to act. Like I said, either that is getting a defensive tool out and using it to save a life of our own or a loved one, or escaping the threat altogether. Being in condition red is dangerous, right? This is when the stuff is actually hitting the fan. It is the scary time. the best way to always live, right? We don't want to live in condition red all of our lives. It's just not sustainable, right? It's just a dangerous place to live. So we need to understand as we go through: white, not aware, just completely oblivious to the world; yellow, somewhat aware, but I kind of get what's going on. That's probably the best place to be for most people. Once we live between yellow and orange, somewhere bouncing back and forth because we're paying attention to the situations, whatever is around us, keeping our eyes open, keeping us aware. That's the other thing you need to be doing in yellow, is observing your surroundings, right? Not being stuck in your phone or whatever device, or your car, or the movie in your house. You need to be really paying attention to, so when something escalates to the point of action, that we're not behind the 8 ball. You also need to remember that action is always faster than reaction. So if we can be aware of bad guy's intentions before he acts, we're gonna have that split second of time that could save our lives to react in a way that we might have to react, if that makes any sense whatsoever. We've kind of gone through these color codes: white, oblivious; yellow, somewhat aware; orange, there's something wrong, I need to make some kind of a decision; and red, I have to act. We've kind of gone through each one of those levels of code. Why are those relevant in our lives, especially someone that's worried about being a personal, your own personal first responder, or I like to call it an immediate responder? Why do we need to incorporate these things in our life? The world has changed drastically over the last few years. I know you guys can feel it. I definitely feel it. I fear for my kids and the world that they're going to grow up in, because it seems like threats are coming from so many other directions now. We have to be really hyper aware. And that's really what Colonel Cooper's intent was with these color codes, is changing how we see the world around us, becoming situationally aware around us, always observing the world, creating these places of escape or evade or cover or concealment, if you will, to help us protect our families and ourselves if there's some sort of situation to arise. It is imperative that we observe the world around us, that we assess the world around us, and that we are ready to act, not react, when a situation happens. And that's why I think Colonel Cooper did such a good job on these color codes. And that's why I think it's so important for us to incorporate these things into our lives. In reality, okay, the most important defensive tool that we have in our lives is the big gray mush right here in our skulls. We need to develop good mental skills to help us keep our way out of any place where there might be a threat. Make good conscious decisions. A fight avoided is always a fight won. There's no macho thing about winning a fight. That is not the case. There's a lot of people right now in jail who defend their lives. What they felt was perfectly in a defensive situation, but the courts didn't see it the right way that they may have seen it, if that makes any sense. We need to develop good mental skills so we can make good decisions before we get into those situations. And that's where situational awareness is so important in our lives as our own immediate responder. Anyways, I hope you guys got something out of this video. Hopefully it was something good. If you have any questions or comments for me, go ahead and leave them below, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Have a good one.